Welcome back to the KB Money Show. It's your boy, KB, and today we're going to talk about creating and sticking to your budget and how that will lead you to financial freedom. Let's get into it. Before we create the budget, we have to understand our current finances and we also need to understand what our goals are. So, understanding our current finances, our income, our expenses, and you can easily do that by just grabbing your bank statement and just reviewing it over the last 3 months. And that'll give you a snapshot of what your current finances are. But then the next thing we need to think about too is what are our goals? Do we have emergency fund goals that we want to build? Do we have savings goals, investment goals, debt payoff goals? And so we need to make sure we have those two things and we've thought through those two things before we actually get into creating the budget. Okay, so now that we understand our finances, at least have a snapshot of it, and we have a financial goal identified, whether it be emergency fund, a savings goal, whatever your goal is, it's your goal. It's personal finance, right? Now let's create the actual budget. And so in order to do that, we need to identify what are we gonna use? You can use an Excel spreadsheet, you can use Google Sheets, you can use an actual digital app on your phone, whatever is convenient for you, you can use it. I don't think you really need to pay for an app. Just use something free that you can use just so you can get on track and get going. Okay, so now we have our budgeting app. Now we need to understand what our income is and what our expenses are. And with that, pushing that aside, put a pin there. We need to identify the categories. The good part is budgeting apps usually make it pretty simple because it'll already be listed out for you usually. And so all you really need to do is just plug it in. But just to go over it, the categories that you need to make sure that are there are like some of the necessities, housing, whether it be a rent or mortgage, all of the associated utilities, groceries you need to eat, and entertainment. We'll put that in there as well. And of course, your savings goals, your investment goals. If you have debt payoff goals in there, so you need to have a line item for that. Paying yourself first, which is technically savings and investing. So you would already have that there as well. And so those will be some of the categories that you will need to have when you're filling out your budget. And the most important thing is don't allocate money to a category and you go over what you're bringing in from your income perspective. So you got to make sure you're zeroing it out, starting at 100% and zeroing it out to every dollar is allocated a zero based budget. So you want to allocate every single dollar. It don't mean that you're going to be perfect, but for the budget's sake, let's do it that way. Now that every dollar has an assignment, that's key. That's really important because now you're starting to operate with intentionality. Now we can shift to sticking to your budget. I know it's not going to be easy. It's going to require some discipline. Actually, it's going to require a lot of discipline. But the one thing that I do want to remind you is give yourself some grace. It's gonna be an adjustment period. One of the things I am going to recommend that you do is have whether it be if you're married with your spouse, if you're single by yourself, maybe get an accountability partner to where maybe start off doing it once a week, a budget review on see how you're tracking and trending, and just to get your momentum going. And then maybe from there you do it every 2 weeks. But just you want to have your mind on your money. That's the biggest key, is to have your mind on your money. And so with that being said, that's what I would recommend, to stick to your budget. But you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to get it down to the cent. So if you're thinking that's not going to be the case. And just remember, it's working on your budget, having a budget, it's not a destination. So it's going to be a journey. And with that being said, life is going to happen. Things are going to change. You're going to make more money. So you're going to need to make adjustments with your budget there. Emergency things are going to pop up. So some things you may need to pause to address a certain emergency. Maybe you have a trip coming up that you want to plan for. Obviously, if you're using your budget, you should probably already be planning for that. But let's just say it's something impromptu that you couldn't have avoided. maybe you need to move some things around for your budget to make room for those things that come up. But the one thing that I would recommend that we don't do is just get in the habit of things that are not a necessity at all, and it's in a want category, and you just keep moving your budget around, and then your budget is derailed, and you've blown your budget because of eating out excessively, traveling excessively. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with those things, but if you know you have a debt payoff goal, that's not helping you with your debt payoff goal. That's not helping you with your investment goals. Yes, there is a way that you can do both, but if you are behind the curve, or if you have a negative net worth and you're looking to get back on track, let's stick to the budget. And we're gonna always stick to the budget, but like when we really need to lock in because we're behind the curve. And so that's what my recommendation would be when it comes to creating a budget and sticking to a budget and walking down that path to financial freedom. It's not rocket science. It's not some magical pill. It's really not that difficult. Save more than you spend. Stick to your budget. Live within your means. As your means expand, your lifestyle can expand a little bit with that as well. Don't have lifestyle creep too much, but hey, let's be real. You got to have some fun too. So I'm not one of those people that tell you, hey, you can't have no fun at all, and this is some painful process. Hey, no, you need to be responsible with your finances, but you can have fun too, And so, yes, you do need to have a fun money category in there as you're navigating this journey, because this is a journey, not a destination. Hopefully this video was helpful. Until the next video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.